Good morning, class. Today we are here to discuss the last two topics of this chapter, that is plains, landforms and people. Okay, so we are starting with the formation and characteristics. First of all, we will read this entire paragraph, and then if any illustration is required, we will give it. Okay, and we will try to understand how these plains are formed. Okay, so let's get started. A plain is a broad area of relatively flat land. Broad, very wide, of relatively flat land. What is the condition of land? It is flat. Okay, it is a comparatively leveled surface of land at a low elevation. Elevation here means height. Vertical height is known as what? Elevation. About 500 feet above sea level from the sea. The interiors of most of the continent are occupied by plains. These lines were very simple. I hope you people have got it. Okay, so let's see these both points, what it is given. While some plains may rise gently inland, others are nearly flat, and some may have rolling or even rough surfaces depending on the different ways in which they were formed. Plains may be formed by internal earth forces or by the process of denudation and deposition. Now, based on these 2 points are the next 3 categories of plains, that is types of plains. As you can see here, 3 types of plains are given: structural plains, erosional plains, as well as depositional plains. Students, let me tell you, these 3 plains are classified on the basis how they were formed. Okay, so first we will see what was given previously over in these 2 points, and then we will move forward. So what it was saying, while some plains may rise gently inland, others are nearly flat, and some may have rolling or even rough surface. And what these 2 things are dependent upon? How they were formed. Okay, how they were formed. Whenever we talk about formation of land, whenever we are talking about formation of plain or formation of land, first few basic things we need to keep in mind. If we are drawing earth like this manner, we will first see that all the movements of the crustal plates are basically cyclic in nature. Okay, 2 points coming towards each other at the same time, it is moving away from each other, means this space I am talking about. Same thing, this is space. Same thing, this is space as well as this is space, as you can see it over here. Okay, means if these 2 places are coming together, means here the force applied which will lead to formation of what? Mountains. Clear? And the portion which is leaving away, or the portion which is leaving behind, what it will form? Crack, which was known as what? Fault. Okay, here only your plain formation occurs. Let me tell you more clearly how. Take for an example, this is a river bed. Okay, river bed. I am providing you the side view. Okay, I am providing you what? Side view. These 2 are land and land. Now what is going to happen here? We will see it just now. What if this particular portion is kept here? So let us see what will happen in an enlarged manner if this process is happening over here. Means the force will go away from each other. If the force will go away from each other, what will happen? The land area will slowly reduced in its height. Here, this is the same thing, your river bed. Clear? Again, river bed. Forces is going still now away from each other. Again, river bed. Forces is going away from each other. Now with these things, what have we understood, or what we can see? What is happening over here? Here the water level is slowly getting reduced, as you can see. Okay, the water level is first of all getting reduced slowly, and the land area is getting wider. See, wider. Clear? So how this is happening? When the tensional force is applied to a earth surface. Which force? Tensional force. Force when land moves away from each other. Ultimately, what will happen? If you are seeing that earlier this was the depth of a river, okay, and then, so as I was saying, here you can see the level of water. Now see in the second diagram, if you are able to denote the arrow, you can see the level of water is slowly getting reduced, as well as see at the top what was the height of this particular land, that also started reducing in its height. What is happening over here? What is happening here? Land is getting stretched, land is stretching away. What it is happening? Land is stretching itself. This is how our plains are formed, when two forces move away from each other. And if the situation was reversed, okay, if the situation was reversed, if the arrow's direction was towards inside, then that would be a different scenario. Here riverbed will be not formed. Here what will happen? Here will be the formation of what? Mountains. Okay, but since we are not going to study about mountains anymore, we have to focus what is our plains and how these plains were formed. Okay, so let's go back to the book and see what else we can study regarding our plains. So this was the topic on which I have illustrated you this particular diagram. Now it will say some may have rolling or even rough surfaces depending upon different ways in which they were formed. See, the basic way of formation of this thing plain is like this way only. Suppose it depends upon the structure of land. I am showing it to you over here in a little bit more detailed manner. Okay, every land portion consists of different layers. Okay, the first layer, second layer, third layer, it also goes to fourth and fifth layer, but that is not the matter of discussion. What is important, that only I am going to illustrate you people over here. First one will be our which portion? Fertile portion, where trees, plants and other greeneries basically grows. Okay, and we can see the roots are deeply penetrated inside the earth. and it holds the further types of rocks which is present in the inside layers of our earth. You might have noticed whenever there is a digging of a boring well, okay, whenever there is a digging of boring well, in the process big boulders of stones only comes out from inside the earth, okay, because that is the basic nature. Clear? So these things all happens. If the fertile portion is more, stone portion is less, that depends upon how this thing will happen. Why? Because you are seeing over here that here the arrow is going away from each other. And what I have told you regarding this, if you see this particular diagram, what I have told you, that if fault is occurring somewhere there is the formation of this particular thing. If at one time the force is going away from each other, simultaneously it is coming towards each other also. So naturally, if this particular portion is going this way, means some of the other portion or some of the other arrow is coming to this side also in every stage. Okay, so that is what it was written. It depends upon how they are formed. If this particular portion is present in this particular area, what will happen? It will start slowly folding itself like this manner. It will stretch, but simultaneously it will fold also. Why? Because this all process is only one. It is known as what? Cyclic process. We also call it what? Continuous process. Clear? I think so. This concept is clear to you now, people. Okay, now let's see what else is given in the second point. Plains may be formed by internal earth forces or by the process of denudation and deposition. Now here comes the second thing, internal earth forces. Students, let me tell you, there are basically two types of forces which results in this fault as well as fold. Here mountains were also known as what? Folds. There are two types of pressure. If I am drawing here our molten core right in between, okay, and the above outer core as well as our mantle. This is a rough diagram, so this diagram is not that much accurate, but for explanation purpose that is sufficient. Okay, now I am drawing with another ink in order to show you how this thing comes. See, first of all, the arrows which I am the lines which I am marking with black pen, take it as an illustration that this particular downward arrows is a force which is applied from outside in, बाहर से अंदर की तरफ, right? And from the outer core I am drawing the next set of vertical lines, okay, and outward direction arrow. Clear? Now what is happening with the downward arrows, the upward arrows? Here the forces is applied from inside to outside, okay, from inside to outside, from outside to inside. And you people will be surprised to know that is how the shape of earth is maintained. Otherwise it should be any rough figure. Why circle only? Have it ever came to your mind what is why the shape of all the planets, even our sun, is only circle? Why not some other shape? Why not triangle? Why not rectangle? Why not square? Why not rhombus? Why only circle? This is the only reason. The outside in and inside out forces are applied at same time, and that too in equal manner. Okay, so what things are happening? Three things are happening now all together. First, the force from outside is coming in, inside force is going out, and the cyclic process of formation of fold as well as formation of faults. This particular thing, happens, and this is how the shape of Earth or any other planet, living planet, there is no other living planet except our Earth, so that is how the shape of our Earth is maintained. First force, second force, and two processes which is happening simultaneously. I hope this particular thing is now clear to you people. Planes may be formed by internal earth forces. This was the entire explanation about the internal earth forces, right? Now we will see or the process of denudation and deposition. Denudation or deposition are basically two things, but the name is different. Why? Because the occurrence and the time is different. Okay, the agents are same, but the process is little bit different due to the time factor. That is why two names, one is denudation and another one is what? Deposition. Denudation means removal of something, such as erosion. Clear? And when one thing is removed, it has to go somewhere and get collected at some point. Where it is getting collected, that is only our what? Deposition. Clear? So based on this entire thing, we will study the three types of planes. Let's first of all read it and then we will see what is given in this particular topic. Let's get started. According to their situation and mode of origin. Mode of origin means how they have formed or when they have formed. Okay, planes can be classified into following three types. First is structural planes, second is erosional planes, third one is depositional planes. By the word itself we can come to know how they are formed. Structural, the very first process which I have explained to you in this particular diagram, the entire diagram, if you are able to see it. Okay, now structural planes. These planes lie near the coast. Which coast? Sea coast. Okay, they are formed as a result of emergence of sea bottom near coast. Now again the heavy explanation point. Emergence of sea bottom near coast, what is the meaning of it? Okay, let me show you. Well, if you have noted down this particular diagram, okay, then it will be lot easier for you to understand how emergence of sea coast occurs. You cut this river and right here ocean. Okay, we cut this land and right here coast. The process will be the same, and this is how coast is emerged. Instead of river, ocean or seas you have to write, and instead of land, coast you have to write, and the entire process is the same. Students, the entire process is same, no changes. Just change the name and the entire thing is done. Okay, now if the coastal area is a flat area, the newly emerged coastal plain will be broad and wide. Example, eastern coastal plain of India, Coromandel coast and northern Sarkars. On the other hand, if there is a mountainous region near the coast, the newly emerged plain would be just a narrow belt. Example, the Malabar coast of India in the western coast. See, the names are just an example which you need to just study. Okay, you just need to know only one thing. If the coastal area, the area is flat, the land which will form, it will be broad and wide. If the land area is near the mountain region, the land which will form will be just a narrow belt. That is the only thing which you need to know and remember. Nothing else, nothing extra. Okay, coming to the next point, erosional plains. As the name suggests, this type of plain are formed as a result of erosion and weathering. The main agents of erosion are running water of river, groundwater and winds. Example, Upper Mississippi Valley of USA and plains around Aravalli region of India. Erosional plains. By the erosion, when something is removed as a top layer, It has to go and it has to deposit somewhere. Okay, so from where it is getting eroded away, the plain area or any plain area from where weathering is occurring, that becomes your erosional plain. And after weathering, where these elements are getting deposited, deposition of sediments, as you can see it over here, that becomes depositional plain. It is very easy. Erosional plains from where weathering is taking place, and after weathering where it is getting collected at this certain point, that becomes your depositional plains. Very simple, very easy. Okay, now let's read it, what it is given. These type of plains are formed by the deposition of sediments on a large scale. Various agents of erosion cut rocks and transport the eroded material load from these source and deposit at the load at some other places. Alluvial plains are formed by gradual accumulation of silt brought down by the rivers. Example, Indo-Gangetic plains in India. Now what here is happening, if we are going back to the very first chapter, okay, we have discussed certain things about the stages of river, if you people remember it. Okay, from where it is getting originated and how it is covering the entire area and where it is getting emptied itself. Okay, that thing only happens, and that is how the alluvial plains are formed. Alluvial is nothing but the fertility of soil is known as what? Alluvial. And the soil which is very much fertile in nature, that becomes your alluvial plains. That's it. Okay, now we are going to study the characteristics of plains. These all points are very easy, students. By studying only you will be able to know it. So let's get started one by one. A plain is comparatively level surface of land at a low elevation. Plain is a comparatively level surface in a proper level, okay, at a low elevation with low vertical height. It is not very high in nature, less than 500 meters. Okay, the plains formed by alluvial deposits are very fertile. Example, Indo-Gangetic plains. Third, generally support a very dense population. Why very dense population? Because since it is very fertile in nature, since here you can see it, figure 2.1 for Indo-Gangetic plain. This greenery shows what? Agricultural land area. Okay, as you know that our country supports more than 50% of population is engaged in agriculture sector, and the entire economy of our country is dependent upon agriculture sector. So that is why, and that is how it supports very dense population. Students, there are three characteristics of plains are given. Either you have to study all three or minimum two. Whichever is easy for you, you need to study it. Okay, now we are coming to advantages of plains. The plains are thickly populated area as they offer many advantages for agriculture, communication and settlements. How settlements? People, those who are engaged in agriculture, they need to settle down somewhere, means their houses. Okay, the fertile soil of plains is a good for agriculture. In arid area, arid means dry area. Okay, irrigation can be provided by wells, water can be provided by wells, canals, etc. for agriculture. That is the meaning. Next, most of the big cities are situated in the plains, and most of the plains provide fine climate and fertile land. It is easy. Fourth, construction of railways and roads is easy on flat and soft surface. As you can see, it is not easy at all. It is not at all possible to construct railways on a mountain. Okay, if a mountain is very steep and the mountain is of a very great height, either it is too much difficult or it is not possible at all to construct roads and railways. Okay, now people, we will be coming to the very last topic of this chapter, that is landforms and people. First we will study what are the impacts on people, those who lives in mountain. Okay, now let's see it one by one. Mountain play a significant role, important role. Meaning of significant is what? Important role in the realms of human affairs, in the purpose of the human affairs. Okay, because of irregular topography, narrow valleys and thin soil cover, agriculture cannot be practiced in mountainous area. The formation of land or the landscape is irregular. It is not planar, it is not regular. The valleys are very narrow, very steep. Soil is also very thinly covered, and agriculture is not possible. Okay, that is the main thing. Then further, the difficulty of transport, shortage of level land, rigorous condition of climate combine to make this region thinly. What is rigorous condition? Rigorous means vigorous, all of a sudden very high, and very, you can say, too much fluctuated type of climate. Okay, extreme of climate, extremes type of climate. Okay, mostly cold and snowfall type of area. That is the thing. Okay, that is why the people who resides over here, the population is very thin. Why? Because in such type of adverse climatic condition, people cannot survive for a long period of time. Okay, that is the reason. Still, there are great use to mankind in following ways. Then also there are certain advantages of this mountain area. There are many advantages, but we are going to see it one by one. What all are these things? Okay, then let's see it one by one. Mountain serves as efficient barriers against cold or hot winds. Okay, it acts as a what? A barrier, a shield. Attacks of enemies and contact between man and man. Thus these serve as an important means of what? Protection. Okay, mountain protects us from cold or hot winds. Okay, it acts as a very big shield between us and our enemies. Clear? Then mountain exert a very powerful influence on precipitation by making the wind rise and reach to the dew point. Here the meaning is only one thing, that mountain exerts a very powerful influence on precipitation. What is powerful influence on precipitation? Means it is having a tendency to change the liquid state of water into solid state or amorphous state. What is the amorphous state of water? Snow. That is the thing. Then we will see the next point. Many rivers also rise from the mountain, and thus irrigation facility depend upon indirectly upon mountains. Now what happens, since the originating point is always a mountain of a river, I can say, according to me, at least 99%. Okay, 99% of rivers emerge from mountains. That is their originating point. They travel a very long area, and then it ultimately goes and mixes with ocean or a sea. Okay, then the slope of mountains provide a rich pasture. What is pasture? Grazing land where animals go and eat grasses. Okay, that is known as what? Pasture. While their heights provide rich growth of timber. What is timber? Timber are the wood which are found in forest and which is responsible mainly for the construction and manufacturing of furnitures. Okay, means what? The woods which is used for preparing furnitures, it is known as what? Timber. Okay, now mountains offer sites for the development of hydroelectricity. What is the basic thing of hydroelectricity? Hydro comes from water. Water means what? Hydro. So when the electricity is generated from water, it is known as what? Hydroelectricity. Clear? Now mountain is having a very great advantage in the manufacturing of a hydroelectricity. How? Here water falls from a very great height. Okay, and the current of water is basically harnessed and it is converted into electricity. Okay, that is the thing. Then with their low temperature, healthy climate and attractive scenery, mountains are important as tourist centers and health resorts. Okay, mountain also serves as an important attraction of tourist centers. Take for an example, a very great example is Nainital. Okay, then mountain have few drawbacks. Now what are the drawbacks? What are the negative things? Let's see it. The mountainous regions of the world put up a great handicap in air, rail and road travel. We cannot get free air. Railways and road travels are limited. Okay, people live in mountainous area have to face great environmental and economic difficulties. Because why? If the construction of rail and road is difficult, naturally the environmental condition as well as economical condition will be also difficult. Okay, highlands provide a home for only 1/10 of the world's population, even though they occupy 1/4 of the earth's land surface. The meaning is this: if we are talking about mountain, there are many places on earth where we found mountains. Okay, but all mountains are not habitable, means people cannot live on every mountain. Okay, that is only the meaning. In spite of this, mountains are great strategic importance and they influence man both in the political and economic spheres. Even though, the meaning is only this, even though there are such drawbacks in mountainous region, but then also it serves a great importance to political as well as economic condition. Okay, how? Being rich in minerals and metals, mountains are the center of mining industry. Even though agriculture is not suitable, if agriculture is not suitable, then mining industry is there. And that is how economic sphere can be maintained in mountainous region. Clear? Then what is the other thing? Impact on life of people in the plain. So this was the comparison. This is basically comparison the people who are living in a mountain area and the people who are living in plain area. Students, let me tell you the explanation of this particular point, that is point number 2, is very simple. While reading it only you will be able to understand. Okay, so we are going to quickly see it, what it is given. If any explanation will be required, that will be given to you simultaneously. Clear? Now let's start. On the whole, it is seen that the depositional plains are most important. The alluvial plains are the center of great economic advancement. These alluvial plains, found in the valley of rivers, have been the cradles of civilization from earlier times. What is cradles of civilization? Here only every civilization got started. If you remember, or I don't know whether you people have studied it or not, you might study it in your history. That is Indus Valley civilization, Harappan civilization, Mesopotamian civilization and Chinese civilization. These were 4 to 5 basic civilization, most important civilization which ever occurred on our globe. Clear? So these all things occur where? Not in the mountain areas, but in the plain area. Now let us see that what are the chief advantages that plain area offers to man. Plains provide level surface for easy lines of transport and communication. Railways, roads and waterways can easily be laid. Why? Because the surface is plain. So construction, if we talk either the construction of railways or roadways, both are easy. Being made of fertile and soft arable soil. Arable soil means soil where agriculture is possible. That is known as arable. Clear? These have remained a granary of world. Granary means what? Where agriculture is possible. Okay, granary, which you can call it as a storehouse of grains. Okay, but best it will be the storehouse of grain. That is known as what? Granary. Clear? Where rainwater is not available, irrigation can be provided easily at a cheap cost. They support a very dense population. Okay. Because of the fine climate, fertile soil and facilities for movement, the plains have become thickly populated and most of the big cities and towns are situated in the plains of the world, except in the areas which suffer from harsh climate and temperatures. Now the last line, which suffers from harsh climate and temperature, which all these places could be? We are talking about the desert area. Okay, some plains area of the world are either too hot or too wet or too cold for human activity. Therefore, these plains remain barren and undeveloped. Barren, the land which is fit for new use. Okay, that becomes barren. We also can call it as a bad land. Okay, where agriculture or nothing is possible, not even mining also. Clear? Such undeveloped plains are those of Sahara and Congo Valley in Africa, the Amazon basin of South America, and the tundra region of North America and Eurasia. These are the places where either it is too hot or it is too cold or it is too wet. Let me tell you, the Amazon basin of South America is too wet. Tundra region of North America and Eurasia is too cold, and the plains of Sahara and Congo is too hot. I hope it is clear to you. Now, the plains of a low latitude is not very thickly populated because climate condition and leached soils. What is leached soils? Leached soils means where the fertility of soil is removed due to adverse climatic condition. Okay, if the rain is acidic in nature, okay, and if in the soil the acid content is too much, so the soil loses its fertility. Okay, that is the meaning. In the middle latitudes, the humid plains are more thickly populated and the arid plains have also developed with the help of irrigation facilities. Means only this, that environment or climate plays a very important role in any sector of plain. Either it is your agriculture sector or mining sector. If the temperature is too cold, if the temperature is extremes, like just now we have studied, either it is too cold or it is too wet or it is too hot, agriculture is not possible. So is the quantity of population. Okay, and if in the middle latitudes, if the rainfall is optimum, temperature is cool or it is warm, then the possibility of agriculture is also there and the possibility of human existence is also there. Okay, both the thing is possible. So this was all about this chapter. Okay, now we have come to the very last section of this chapter, that is our exercise. And let me remind you students, in this chapter we are doing this map work. Okay, in this chapter map work is included. This is basically the map of world: North America, South America, Asia, Africa, India, Australia, Antarctica. Clear? Now what we are going to do in map work, that I will tell you just now, but first of all let's see what are the contents of exercise of this particular chapter. This exercise contains of basically 5 questions. First one is to tick the right option, fill in the blanks, differentiate between, answer in brief and give reasons. Okay, possibility is there that you might get some extra questions. Okay, so these all things including our map work. Okay, a complete map work which is prepared by me, it will be available including this exercise and question answers on our school's website. As you people already know, it is www.lfsrapinagar.ac.in. Okay, from there in your download section you can go and download all the study materials of this particular chapter, and these all things will be available to you by Friday. Okay, by Friday or on Friday you can go and download all of these things in your from your home. Okay, I hope you people have enjoyed the classes, and take care of yourself and have a nice day ahead.